Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss F9, the Fast Saga, starring Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Jordana Brewster, Tyrese Gibson, Chris Ludacris Bridges, Nathalie Emmanuel, Charlize Theron, John Cena, Sun Kane, Anna Sawai, Helen Mirren, Lucas Black, Shad Bow Wow Moss, and Kurt Russell. Where is he? Directed by Justin Lin. Now, okay, let's just get straight into this movie because I have a lot to say about this one, if you could believe it. The movie opens with an old school Universal logo with the original movie's sounding of the logo, which is an interesting way to open this movie. In 1989, Jack Toretto participates in his last car race of the season with his sons Dominic and Jacob and his pit crew. While Jacob works, Dom argues with rival racer Kenny Linder about his dirty tactics. As Jack and Kenny resume the race, Kenny's car clips Jack's bumper and causes him to hit a wall and explode, killing him. Dom runs onto the track but is held by Buddy, played by Michael Rooker, another member of Jack's crew. Dom and Jacob mourn for their father's death, and I didn't really mind this opening. And the backstory of how Dom and Jacob became enemies was fine, but did I need to know all about that and Dom's father and all that? No, as I get the impression he'll at some point come back into either this, if not the next film. In the present, Dom, returned by Vin Diesel, is retired off the grid, raising his son Brian, or little Brian as they call him, with his wife Letty, returned by Michelle Rodriguez. Roman, returned by Tyrese Gibson. Tej, returned by Ludacris. And Ramsey, returned by Nathalie Emmanuel, arrive with the news of Mr. Nobody, returned briefly by Kurt Russell. Where is that guy? Apprehending Cypher, returned by Charlize Theron, but his plane being attacked and her being extracted by rogue agents. The plane crashed in let me see if I'm saying this right. Montecito, Central America, and the team asks for help investigating the crash site. Dom declines, but Letty agrees because she misses that life. Dom replays the distress signal and realizes Jacob, played by John Cena, is behind the hijacking. And can I just say, I knew he wasn't the real bad guy, and he'll turn good by the end of the movie, which is a cliche with the series, and it was telegraphed. We'll get there. Searching the plane, they find part of a device named Ares, which can hack into any computer weapon system. The team is attacked by a private army, and Jacob, who steals the device and escapes. The team rendezvous with Stasiak en route to their safe house, And with all this action going on, Roman almost gets killed by not only his car, but almost touches an explosive device, and he almost blew up but he makes that out alive. And I'm with Tej. How the hell is Roman not dead at this point? My God, this movie's stupid. It's the stupidest movie in the film. This is the stupidest moment of the film, in my opinion. Jacob getting away with the magnetic plane, as well as a car flying with the rope, and Dom doing the Tarzan car flip. And Dom and Letty do not die at this point. Both times I said the only time I said it in the theater was, give me a friggin' break. Well, I said it plenty of times, don't get me wrong, but because this doesn't make any sense at all. I always like watching John Cena in movies, even the bad ones like Trainwreck and a movie of his I didn't see, nor do I care to, called Blockers. He, like The Rock, has sort of charisma, and honestly, his character is the best thing about the movie, as I don't like anyone else in this movie, including Dom, which makes me sad because I liked him in the previous movies. Back in 1989, after the crash, Kenny Linder pays his respects to Jack. After an altercation with Jacob, He insults and punches Dom, who nearly beats him to death. Dom gets arrested as Jacob watches, and do I need more of the racetrack scenes? No, this movie is the longest of the Fast and Furious films at 2 hours and 25 minutes. And I felt every minute of this. In the present, Jacob meets with Otto, his associate. Cypher is held at their base and tries to sway Jacob into working for her, but he declines, which thank God for that. And it's pretty telegraphed. And based on my prediction, it makes sense. She tells him the other half of Ares is in Edinburgh, United Kingdom, which is pretty to look at, and I do like that in every Fast and Furious movie, we see many different locations, as it's a great look, but to look at, I should say, but unfortunately it doesn't change my opinion of some of the movies, including this one. Dom and the team are joined by Mia Toretto, returned by Jordana Brewster, who wants to help as Jacob is her brother too, which is an okay choice to bring her back from retirement from the series. Dom is reluctant to put Mia at risk, but she and Letty reassure Dom that their children are safe with Brian, which, I'm not going to talk about it, as we never see his face as we get close at the end, but I'll save that when I get there. The team debriefs and they find out that Han, returned by Sung King, has been working with Mr. Nobody. The team splits up with Dom going to LA and meeting Buddy. And what is Michael Rooker doing in this movie? As he's going to do another movie I'm reviewing later this year called The Suicide Squad, which I'm not looking forward to either, but I'll explain when I get there. But here, he feels pretty useless in this movie. In 1991, while Dom serves his sentence, he recalls that Jacob was working on Jack's car the day he died, and realizes that Jacob is responsible for his death, but doesn't know the reason why he did it. When Dom is released, he goes to the LA street racing scene, where Jacob has been winning every race. Dom confronts and challenges him in an arrangement that culminates in Jacob leaving town, with only Mia keeping contact with him, which makes no freaking sense at all for Mia to stay in contact with Jacob. The actors portraying Dom and Jacob are a mixture of good and bad. The good is Dom. The actor sounds like a young Vin Diesel, as he's cast perfectly in the role. The bad is Jacob, because he sounds and looks nothing like John Cena sounds and looks, which is a real shame because John Cena sounds tougher than this kid. Dom meets with Buddy, who took Jacob in after Jack's death, and that was a mistake because he'll pretend to be evil to get to Dom. Buddy chastises Dom for taking away Jacob's family and tells him to make peace with the past, informing him that Jacob is in London. And I couldn't wait for Dom to confront Jacob, as they never did quite yet. And I'm again feeling the length of this movie, as it feels too long. Letty and Mia arrive in Tokyo to search for Han, while Roman and Tej arrive in Germany to recruit Sean, returned by Lucas Black, Twinkie, returned by Bow Wow, and Earl Who, played by Jason Tobin, who I've never seen before in the movies, have been working on a rocket car, as it is sort of felt like Top Gun on a car, which is a terrible mixture. And I'll be doing Top Gun in the new sequel later this year when the thing comes out. Dom arrives in London and meets Queenie Shaw, returned by Helen Mirren, who gives him Jacob's location. Dom confronts Otto and then Jacob, who tells Dom to leave. Otto has Dom apprehended by Interpol agents. Lisa, played by Cardi B, and what is she doing here? As she's an old friend of Dom's, helps him and gives him Jacob's gun so he can track him with the biometric imprints. In Tokyo, Letty and Mia encounter Elle, played by Anna Sawai, and Han, as Elle, Letty, and Mia have a pretty terrible fight with the leading outside when some men come up to them, Han shoots them down, and I swear to God, as soon as Han showed up, I thought the line from The Shining, but this version is, "Here's Honey," as his entrance. Despite it was in the trailer, it was pretty laughable. Tej, Roman, and Ramsey meet up with Dom in Edinburgh, where Jacob is using an electromagnetic field to disrupt security systems in order to steal the second Ares device. And when the magnet is used on big metal like cars and other things, this is when the movie starts to lose its brain and the series starts running out of gas at this point. And again, give me a frickin' break. Tej and Roman are compromised when they find the magnetic device and fight their way out, with Ramsey commanding the truck the magnet is attached to while chasing to Otto. Meanwhile, Dom notices Jacob ziplining between buildings and intercepts him. The two fight throughout the city while Otto prepares for an extraction until Ramsey runs his car off the road. Jacob tries to escape by stealing a car, but Dom uses the magnetic in the truck to apprehend him, and the whole chase is preposterous and stupid. And I can't believe how much I'm not liking this, as it doesn't have a brain in its head. Otto returns to his base and recruits Cypher as they talk about Star Wars, as Otto says he's Yoda because he's a puppet with someone's hand up his ass, which has got to be the stupidest line in this whole movie because this isn't Star Wars. At the Toretto safe house, Jacob is held in a cell. Han reveals that Giselle was a former CIA operative working with Mr. Nobody. Han, grieving over Giselle's death, was assigned by Mr. Nobody to protect Elle in Ares, as Elle's DNA is its final component. When Mr. Nobody informed Han that one of his agents went rogue, the two used Deckard Shaw to fake Han's death for him to protect Elle. Otto attacks the safe house and frees Jacob, who had been Mr. Nobody's rogue agent, which is so freaking stupid. Jacob also reveals that in 1989, Jack had been in massive debt and was planning to fake his death in the race to give his family a better life. He had Jacob tamper with this car, but the plan went awry, causing the car to explode. Jacob and Otto kidnap Elle and the second Ares device, and I lost it with this movie at this point. And I thought Too Fast, Too Furious was the worst, but no, it's not going to this movie, as it's headache worthy of a movie. Otto has a satellite launch into orbit while Jacob has Elle activate the Ares device. They plan to wait for Ares to be uploaded into the satellite, which, moving throughout Tbilisi, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, is an armored truck. Dom, Letty, Mia, Ramsey, and Han give chase to rescue Elle and stop the upload, as the entire sequence is the point I totally lost it with the movie. As Mia and Han try to breach the truck, Jacob is betrayed by Otto and is thrown off the truck, which I personally knew was coming. Dom and Mia save him, and Jacob uses Mia's car to escape, but returns to help Dom, and Ramsey gained the access to the truck, as this was telegraphed to death. It was not funny. Meanwhile, Tej and Roman enter orbit and destroy the satellite before Ares can be uploaded in space. Can I just say, I heard for the longest time that the Fast and the Furious series would eventually go to outer space, and I thought they were saving it for the next movie, but nope, they did it here, as it pissed me off. Cypher uses remotely controlled jet bomb to bomb the truck, attempting to kill Dom, but fails, killing Otto instead. As Dom escapes the truck, Ryo jets into Cypher's plane, destroying it as Cypher escapes. And I wanted to run out of this movie theater when that happened, as it was not only so freaking stupid, but I said out loud in the theater, "Give me a break! Jacob arrives in Dom's car and gives him his keys back. Dom tells him that there will be a lot of people after him and hands him back the keys. As I was checked out at this point, he reconciles with Jacob, forgiving him for his role in their father's death. Mia tells Jacob she lost him once and she's not going to lose him again. Jacob takes Dom's car and escapes. Another spaceship spots Tej and Roman and brings them back to Earth, as they thought they were the minions of Despicable Me, which is another Universal Picture film, as it was the funniest line in the whole movie. The team celebrates another successful mission with a family barbecue. While preparing to say grace, the older Brian's car arrives in the driveway, and I thought, please, for the love of God, do not show his face. Wait for the next movie as it cuts to credits, which was the only smart choice in this movie. During the credit scene, we see Deckard Shaw returned briefly by Jason Statham beating up someone while in a punching bag until Han arrives. For what reason? Maybe it will be explained in part 10, but it was nice to see Jason Statham in a Fast and Furious movie without picking on The Rock. And to be fair, it's just ridiculous. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 1.8 out of 10. There were plenty of times I thought, give me a frickin' break, as the series is getting much worse after part 5, which is a real shame. I did sort of like the John Cena character, the most, as everyone else is horrible this time. But unfortunately, I knew he wasn't the main bad guy from the minute this movie started, as it was telegraphed, as I lost it with the film. The plot was a headache-worthy plot, as it doesn't have a brain in its freaking head. And I thought Too Fast, Too Furious was the worst in the series, but nope, it's unfortunately going to this movie, as this felt like the worst in the series. So thank you guys for joining me for this Fast and the Furious series, and until whenever they get a part 10, let's race.